I was born 4 minutes before my twin sister Lila, but those 4 minutes stretched into a lifetime of being unseen. Growing up in our two-story house on Maple Lane in Boise, Idaho, you'd never guess we were twins, let alone sisters. The cream-colored walls held the same family photos, Lila's dimpled smile always front and center, mine tucked in the background, barely noticeable. Mom used to laugh with her book club friends, calling Lila her mini-me, all soft curls, delicate giggles, and a knack for charm that seemed to bloom from the womb. Me, I was Clara, too bold, too stubborn, too unrefined, as Mom put it, her lips pursing like I was a puzzle she couldn't solve. As kids, the differences were stark. At 5, Lila got a glittering princess gown for Christmas. I got a hand-me-down sweater and a pat on the head to be practical. When I asked for a toy art set, Mom bought Lila a dollhouse instead, saying, "You can share, Clara. Don't be greedy." I'd stare at the dollhouse, its tiny furniture mocking my empty hands, and wonder why my wishes never counted. By our 8th birthday, the gap widened. Lila's party spilled into the backyard, streamers, a 2-tiered cake, and a magician who made her squeal with delight. I got a plain cupcake and a chore, stack the paper plates and sweep the confetti. When I asked why, Mom's smile was thin. "You're the older sister, Clara. You need to help out. Lila's sensitive." Dad wasn't any better. A quiet man who hid behind his newspaper, he'd ruffle Lila's hair and call her my little star, driving her to dance classes in his pickup while I walked 2 miles to the library for art books. Once, I showed him a sketch I'd spent hours on, a meadow with wildflowers in colored pencil. He glanced at it, nodded, and said, "Nice. Lila's recital is tonight, so don't wait up." His words landed like a stone in my chest, heavy and cold. The favoritism wasn't just about gifts or time. At dinner, Mom slid the biggest slice of chicken to Lila, saying she needed to keep her strength up. If Lila spilled juice, I got a frown for not watching her. My straight A report cards earned a curt "good job." But Lila's B in spelling had Mom calling Aunt Ruth to brag. I used to lie awake, staring at the glow-in-the-dark stars on our shared ceiling, wondering if I was too loud, too messy, too wrong to be loved like Lila. The older I got, though, the clearer it became. It wasn't about me failing. It was about them choosing her every time. The only person who saw me, really saw me, was Grandma Agnes. She lived in a tiny cottage across town, her walls covered in watercolor landscapes. She'd sit me on her porch swing, hand me a sketchbook, and teach me to draw the curve of a leaf or the shadow of a cloud. "Clara," she'd say, her voice warm as the butter cookies she baked, "you're like a rare flower. People might overlook you at first, but when they notice, they can't look away." I clung to her words like a lifeline, sketching late into the night when Mom's criticisms stung too deep. By 16, I knew the truth. My parents' love was a pie sliced unevenly, with Lila getting the whole plate and me scraping crumbs. I'd watch Lila twirl in her new dresses, Mom's eyes glowing with pride, and feel like a guest in my own home. But Grandma Agnes's sketchbook, tucked under my pillow, reminded me I was more than their afterthought. I wasn't just Clara, the strong twin. I was Clara, and I'd find a way to shine, even if no one else saw it yet. The summer I turned 18, my world cracked open. Sitting at the kitchen table, I listened as Mom and Dad explained that the college savings they'd scraped together could only cover one of us. Lila, with her delicate dreams and public relations aspirations, was their choice. "You're strong, Clara," Mom said, her voice flat, like she was stating the weather. "You'll figure it out." Dad just looked at his coffee mug, silent as ever. I felt the air leave the room, my future shrinking to a pinpoint. That night, I packed a suitcase with $250 from my part-time library job, a few worn clothes, and Grandma Agnes's sketchbook, its pages dog-eared from years of use. I left Boise behind, not out of anger, but out of necessity. If I stayed, I'd suffocate under their indifference. I landed in Spokane, Washington, in a closet-sized apartment with peeling beige paint and a mattress that creaked like it held a grudge. The rent was $400 a month, more than I could afford, but it was mine, the first place where no one compared me to Lila. I enrolled in Spokane Community College's digital media program, drawn to the way pixels could tell stories as vividly as my sketches. To pay for tuition and rent, I worked 3 jobs: waitressing at a greasy diner until midnight, tutoring high school kids in math on weekends, and picking up freelance flyer designs for local businesses. Some nights I'd collapse on my mattress, my hands smudged with ink and burger grease, too tired to cry. But I never let myself stop. Stopping meant admitting I wasn't enough. School became my refuge. I'd spend hours in the computer lab tweaking designs until they sang. Posters, animations, even a short video for a class project that won a local contest. My professors noticed. One, Ms. Rivera, pulled me aside after a critique. "Clara, your work has soul," she said. "Don't let the world dim that." Her words echoed Grandma Agnes, and I held them close, especially when Mom texted about Lila's amazing college acceptance to some fancy private school, with no mention of my own straight A semester. The hardest blow came that winter. Grandma Agnes passed away, her heart giving out quietly in her sleep. I couldn't afford the bus fare back to Boise for the funeral, so I sat alone in my apartment, clutching her sketchbook. She'd left it to me, along with a note tucked inside. "Keep drawing, Clara. Your light is yours alone." I traced her handwriting, tears blurring the ink, and promised I'd make her proud. That spring, I applied for every scholarship I could find, spending nights polishing essays while Lila's Instagram showed her at sorority parties, Mom's comments gushing with hearts. When I won a partial scholarship covering half my tuition, I texted Dad. His reply, "Good. Lila's leading a campus fundraiser." I deleted the message and kept working. By my second year, my portfolio caught the eye of a scholarship committee. I'd submitted a motion graphics project, a short film about a girl finding her voice through art, poured straight from my heart. The email came on a rainy Tuesday. I'd won a full-ride transfer scholarship to Portland State University's renowned visual media program. My hands shook as I read it, the words "full tuition and living stipend" glowing like a lifeline. For the first time, I could cut back on waitressing shifts and breathe. I called Mom, my voice trembling with pride. 2 days later, she texted back, "Nice. Lila just got a PR internship. So thrilled." I stared at the screen, the familiar ache settling in, but this time, it didn't break me. I was done chasing their approval. Packing for Portland, I felt a shift. Spokane had been my proving ground, where I'd learned to stand on my own. Portland was my next step, a chance to compete on a bigger stage, to show the world what Clara Hayes could do. I tucked Grandma Agnes's sketchbook into my bag, its weight a reminder of who believed in me when no one else did. As the bus pulled out of Spokane, I didn't look back. I was building myself, piece by piece, and no one, not even my family, could take that away. Portland State University was a new world, all sleek glass buildings and buzzing ambition. But stepping onto campus at 20, I felt like an imposter. My faded sneakers and second-hand backpack stood out against the polished confidence of my peers. Worse, Lila was there too, studying public relations, gliding through the quad in designer jackets Mom had mailed her, seeing her reignited old wounds like a bruise I thought had healed. But I wasn't here to compete with her. I was here to become someone even I could be proud of. I threw myself into my visual media program, spending late nights in the design lab crafting animations and interactive campaigns. My professors pushed me hard, and I loved it. Dr. Elaine Carter, a no-nonsense woman with a sharp eye, became my mentor. "Clara, your designs don't just look good, they speak," she told me after I presented a project on urban storytelling through motion graphics. Her praise was oxygen, fueling me through exhausting days. To afford rent in a tiny Portland studio, I worked evenings at a coffee shop, mornings cleaning dorm lounges, and weekends on freelance logo gigs. Sleep was a luxury, but every ache was worth it. I was building something real. Lila's presence was a constant shadow. She'd breeze into the cafeteria, her laughter drawing eyes while I sat in the corner, sketching over a $2 sandwich. Once, we were paired for a cross-department project, my digital media skills with her PR flair. I pitched an interactive app to promote local artists, but Lila waved it off. "Too niche," she said, pushing a glitzy social media campaign instead. The group sided with her, and I ended up coding the visuals while she presented. Dr. Carter emailed me later. "Your app concept was the backbone. Don't let others dim your voice." Her words stung and lifted me. She was right. I needed to stand taller. My big break came in my third year. I landed an internship at a creative agency in downtown Portland, designing educational media for nonprofits. The office was small but vibrant, with exposed brick walls and a team that valued my ideas. My first project, a video series for literacy programs, went viral locally, earning me a staff shout-out. Around then, Dr. Carter nominated me for the Vanguard Creative Scholarship, a national award for emerging creatives. I spent weeks refining my portfolio, pouring my soul into a new piece, an animated short about a girl breaking free from invisibility. When the acceptance email arrived, I read it 5 times, hands trembling. The scholarship covered full tuition, a stipend, and a 3-month internship in Berlin. I'd done it. I texted Mom, hoping this time she'd see me. Her reply 3 days later: "Congrats. Lila's hosting a charity gala. So proud." The words cut, but I was learning to let them slide. Dad didn't respond at all. Lila, though, sent a quick, "Wow, cool," that felt like an afterthought. I focused on what mattered: the scholarship ceremony in Chicago, where I'd be honored alongside other winners. The Chicago venue was a glittering hall, all chandeliers and camera flashes. I wore a borrowed black dress, simple but sharp, my heart pounding as I sat among professors and industry leaders. When the host announced the Visionary of the Year award, a special title for one Vanguard recipient, I clapped for whoever it would be. Then he said my name, Clara Hayes, whose resilience and artistry redefined storytelling. The room stood, applause roaring. I walked to the stage, my legs unsteady but my gaze firm, accepting a crystal plaque that felt heavier than my past. For the first time, I was seen, not by my family, but by a world that valued what I'd fought for. Backstage, a creative director from a New York agency approached me, offering a mentorship. My phone buzzed with congratulations from classmates and Dr. Carter, but nothing from home. As I stood under Chicago's glowing skyline, clutching Grandma Agnes's sketchbook, I realized something. I didn't need their validation. I'd built my own light, and it was brighter than their indifference could ever dim. A month after the Chicago ceremony, Mom called, her voice softer than I'd ever heard. "Come home for dinner, Clara. Just us. Something cozy." I hesitated, my thumb hovering over the phone. Part of me wanted to say no, to keep the distance I'd carved out. But another part, the girl who once hoped for their love, said yes. I needed to face them, not to win their approval, but to free myself. So I drove back to Boise, the familiar Maple Lane house looming like a memory I'd outgrown. The dining room smelled of roasted chicken and rosemary, but the air felt heavy. Mom fussed with the tablecloth, Dad sat stiffly, his glasses catching the light, and Lila perched on the couch, scrolling her phone. The same family photos stared down, Lila's smile still stealing the frame. Dinner was quiet at first. Small talk about neighbors, the weather, Lila's new PR client. I nodded, my fork tracing patterns in mashed potatoes, waiting for the moment I'd rehearsed in my head. After dessert, Mom cleared her throat. "Clara, we saw your award video online. It's impressive." Her words were careful, like she was testing them. Dad nodded, mumbling, "Good job." Lila glanced up, her eyes flickering with something. Guilt, maybe. I set my napkin down, my pulse steady. "Can we talk about everything?" I asked, my voice calm but firm. Mom's smile faltered. "What do you mean?" I took a breath, and the years spilled out. "I mean how you chose Lila every time. Her gifts, her college, her dreams. I was 4 minutes older, but you made me feel invisible. You told me I was strong, but did you ever think I needed you to care? To ask if I was okay?" My voice trembled, but I didn't stop. "I built my life alone, and you barely noticed. Even now you talk about Lila's clients, not my scholarship." "Why?" Mom's eyes reddened, but she didn't interrupt. Dad stared at his hands, shame flickering across his face. "We thought you were fine," Mom said, her voice cracking. "You always handled things. Lila needed us more." I shook my head. "That's not love. That's convenience." Lila shifted, her voice small. "I didn't know it hurt you that much. Mom and Dad always said I had to shine or I'd fail. It wasn't fair to you." Her admission surprised me, but it didn't erase the past. "I don't need apologies," I said, looking at them all. "I need you to understand I'm not waiting for your approval anymore. I'll share my life if you respect me, but I won't beg for it." I stood, grabbing my coat. Mom reached out, whispering, "You're still our daughter. I smiled, bittersweet. I know, but I'm my own person now. Driving away, I felt lighter, like I'd shed a weight I'd carried since childhood. Grandma Agnes's sketchbook sat on the passenger seat, a quiet reminder of who I'd always been. I wasn't running from them. I was running toward myself. For the first time, I knew my truth was enough. New York City welcomed me in June 2021 with a sunrise that painted the Brooklyn skyline gold. I'd landed a job as a junior art director at the creative agency that mentored me. Its midtown office a whirlwind of storyboards and late-night deadlines. My apartment, a cozy fifth-floor walk-up, had creaky floors and a window that framed the city's pulse. For the first time, I felt like I belonged, not to someone else's story, but to one I'd written myself. Work was demanding, but I thrived. My designs, interactive campaigns for global nonprofits, lit up screens in Times Square, each pixel a testament to the girl who once sketched in secret. My colleagues, a mix of dreamers and doers, became my chosen family. Over rooftop drinks, we'd share stories of stumbles and comebacks. No judgment, just understanding. They didn't know my past, and I didn't need them to. Their respect was enough. Messages from home trickled in, polite but distant. Mom sent holiday greetings or updates about her garden. I replied with short, kind texts, keeping the space I'd fought for. Dad called once, his voice awkward. Your mom talks about your work a lot. She's proud, you know. I smiled, said thanks, and let it go. Their words were late, but they no longer held power over me. Lila texted sometimes, a photo from her new PR job in Seattle, a clip of her leading a workshop. Once, she wrote, I miss your sketches. Made me jealous, honestly. I replied, keep shining, Lila, for you. Our connection wasn't deep, but it was honest, free of old rivalries. I built a life from small joys, cooking pasta with too much garlic, decorating my apartment with my own digital art, wandering art galleries on weekends. One evening a friend asked, Clara, you're so steady. Ever need anyone to lean on? I laughed softly. I did, but I learned to lean on myself. It's not so bad. New York taught me that strength isn't just surviving, it's choosing what makes you whole. On my 26th birthday, I woke to sunlight spilling across my desk, a cup of coffee steaming beside a cinnamon roll from the corner bakery. No parties, no crowds, just me, sketching in Grandma Agnes's sketchbook, its pages worn but sacred. I thought of Boise, of the girl who begged for love she never got. That girl was gone, replaced by someone who didn't need permission to live fully. I framed a sketch from Agnes's book, a simple wildflower with my handwritten words beneath. You are enough. It hung on my wall, a quiet vow. I still called home for holidays. Mom chatted about recipes, Dad mumbled hellos, and Lila shared snippets of her life. The calls were gentle, a nod to a bond that existed but no longer defined me. I'd found my family in New York's chaos, in friends who cheered my wins, in colleagues who saw my spark. As I sat by my window, the city humming below, I knew I wasn't just Clara, the overlooked twin. I was Clara, whole and free, living a life I'd earned, and that was more than enough.